Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishnan, and here basically we are discussing about the next generation. Basically, and next generation, the topic is basically the next generation should go or next generation is not supposed to go. In this, basically, this comes under attraction. So here, basically, we are discussing one thing. Basically, I have taken one example of the server. Basically, how basically the server basically gets the server basically contains the 1 lakh projects. One server basically contains 1 lakh projects, and then the business development group basically say that we literally do the hard work in the server in the particular computer and the particular laptop which is connected with this server basically. According to that, basically according to the map of the particular projects basically, the projects basically we get according to the roadmap basically which is setted by the company basically, which is basically setted by the company basically. According to that, basically we gets the project, and then basically the business development project basically gets starts. So here one person basically told that basically here basically the projects basically are dumped, right? The HP computer basically is there. The HP company owner basically might be doing that. The Compaq company owner basically might be doing that. The Dell company owner basically might be doing that. Means his group basically. One person basically can't do anything. Compaq basically company, software laptop company, server company basically might be doing. IBM is there. Microsoft is the Microsoft also basically launched the server basically. So like this group basically might be basically doing each and everything. But here one person basically asked a question basically, who actually basically generates the project? Who actually basically generates the project? Then basically the answer basically one person told that basically army groups are there, businessmen are there basically. Till now basically when the projects are basically getting generated, that time basically the software company basically has not able to recognize that the project basically is going to come. The company owner basically has told that basically they basically not connected with these projects basically. They basically gets the information that basically the project is going to come. That basically with the help of the government basically, with the help of the government groups basically they basically know that the projects is going to come basically, but they basically going to get the project, that is 100% sure basically. But here the who basically are those who basically gets the information that project is going to come? That is basically the Dell company owner, Compaq company owner, Microsoft companies owner, IBM companies owner. These all basically groups are basically having the servers basically. So they basically gets the information that the army person is basically is going to generate one project. The businessman basically is going to generate one project. So these all are basically person going to generate projects basically. They are going to give you project basically. So one basically person asked basically army person basically how he can give the project. The one of the compact basically company owner basically told that how basically army person basically this group basically never able to track that who is basically actually giving the project. But big reason basically they are connected with only with the government basically. Few company owners says that we basically know each and everything basically who are basically giving the project. So army person basically given the requirement that this area basically I have to clear, and I have to create some new areas basically. And one person told that one army person told that basically this city basically is this sorry the here in the sea basically there is the one area basically there basically the lava blast basically has happened, and we have created one land basically. In that land basically we have to create one city basically. So this basically is the requirement given by the army person basically. So according to that, basically the Compaq company owner basically they studied that each and everything basically what actually the requirement is, which type of land that sea basically contain, which type of the area basically he needs to clear, each and everything basically they studied it. They studied it basically. So we can just imagine basically how powerful this compact company owner, HP company owners, and then basically the Dell company owners are. Their group basically, servers group basically, server groups. Then they do like this basically. They collected the requirements. Then they told that basically here basically this is the city basically which is going to generate this that basically digital world is going to create here. The human needs are basically going to create here. The human needs are basically the natural human needs are basically getting over. So this also basically is need to create from this particular land. That's why basically we are creating this land basically in the city, in the sea basically near the inside the sea basically. There basically lava blast has happened, and then basically the land is basically created. In that land basically we are going to create one island basically, like same way basically the Mumbai basically got created one day basically. Same way basically we are going to create one more island, and in that basically island basically we are going to dump this all basically types of human souls that are basically the human. Then basically we are going to generate this all basically human needs. We are going to generate this many buildings basically. Like this basically the army person basically given the requirements, and then basically one person told that you told just now basically the education industry basically one of the person basically given the requirement. Yeah, basically he also basically one of the given the one of the requirement to the compact Dell basically, who are basically gets the project basically, and they basically dumps the projects into the server. He told that how basically you can say the education groups basically. Then he told he given one example basically the that particular, you remember that example, the Harvard University person basically, that student basically, yeah, reached to the World Bank, and basically he got some new idea creation in the, and Harvard University education's idea basically. That basically he created 4 to 5 buildings basically. Yeah. That basically. So that was basically one new project basically. That was basically new project basically generated, because that's are basically ideas. So that basically ideas basically need to generate in the environment also. Lots of thing basically has to do. So for that basically the project that basically professor basically given the requirement. Basically one person basically can't do anything. He basically given the requirement. This is the requirement. He basically know that he was connected with that particular student basically, and how basically up to what level basically the student basically connected the roadmap basically from this bank, this bank, this bank, this bank, because they have created the Harvard University groups who told that we have created this 300 city basically from where the each and every ideas basically are getting, and how basically the thinking basically is getting generated, that all basically things are basically we have mapped. So basically we know basically the student basically who is going to think this basically up to that level, and then basically he reached to the World Bank. Then basically in World Bank basically created new product, and that product basically was new, totally new product basically, and that basically generated 4 to 5 buildings basically, and that basically is the requirement basically, and that requirement basically was studied by the server group basically. They done the study of that particular requirement. Like this, the requirement was given to the server groups. Like this, they also basically given the requirement. Then basically the one of the businessmen basically given the requirement that basically I want this. Then he told that what this. Then he told that I want this. Again he told that again that server group basically told that what if you want this? This means what? Basically? Then he told that basically he was basically energy person basically. He told that. Uh, Actually, the land basically in sea land basically, the people basically who are going to be placed after certain basically time. Just see basically the things basically are getting connected after certain times. After certain time, and these all people are going to be placed here. Basically, these all human souls basically. These all blood groups basically people are going to be placed here, and for that basically we want to create one project basically, because the next generation is going to happen. and this next generation is going to be dumped here. So for that basically we required some projects basically. We required some projects basically. For that basically we want some IT group basically who should control this everything basically. Because we one businessman also told that basically we can't do anything basically. Everything basically we can't do. You need to track each and everything, each and every information you need to track. You need to track. So for that basically we businessmen basically we are few businessmen too basically who are going to create the city same way basically the Mumbai city is created. That exact same way basically this land basically got into the picture. Island basically. Same way Mumbai is also created basically. So like this basically the island got created and then basically the project basically came into the picture. And few businessmen basically that are the server businessmen basically they got the project and they told that basically yeah basically we can our software group basically that is basically each and every software company so the sorry the server companies are basically connected with set of software companies software professionals basically very powerful professionals basically like Accenture company is there few basically project Capgemini do few Patanis are there basically then eClarex is there then basically Mustech company is there like this many Rishabh software companies there like this basically he told that basically there are many companies basically like this he told that basically the 3 Infotech is there. These all basically companies are basically good into the this type of development basically. So according to that basically these all are software companies basically are customer of our basically. We will be giving the server to these people basically that this new server basically has came. You basically want the projects basically then you can get the projects from these all servers basically. The business development of the software company basically he basically know that basically how the projects basically gets but you have to do the hard work that is basically the business development group basically do that like this basically you will be going to get the projects like this basically the projects basically are converted like this basically Indian army businessmen education people like this basically there are many people basically this 3 to 4 people basically we have discussed like this basically there are many groups basically who says that basically we have the projects and you can basically take these projects and basically convert into the software basically. And like these project managers directors developers quality people CEO vice president this all basically people comes into the picture. So like this basically we discussed that how basically the education industry basically given the project to the software company how businessman group basically given the project to the software company, how Indian army basically given the project to the software company. Like Indian army basically there are many army basically, so they all basically given the project to the software company. Like this basically there are many groups basically who says that basically we basically gives the projects to the software companies. So this was actually what this now basically just now we discussed that actually is what that is also basically one of the next generation and who is supposed to be joined into the next generation and who is not supposed to join the next generation that all basically are decided by this group basically who basically gives the project and with the server company basically say that basically we have dumped this project. So just see basically how powerful this server company groups might be. HP is there, then basically the Dells are there, then Compaq are there, Microsoft are there, IBM groups are there. Like this, basically, this all basically powerful groups are there. Basically, who says that basically we basically this group basically have infrastructure. Huh? That is the main thing. This group basically have the infrastructure. So now the here the question is basically the education person basically how basically he know that basically this company basically can create my project. That basically the question basically was that was the basically interesting question basically. For that basically few system basically was created by the government group basically. if you want to do this type of requirement, they basically gives the requirement, and according to the requirement basically the governments basically connect, because government is say that basically we have created the city, we only have the authority to create the city, so they basically know each and everything basically. Government means basically is chief minister, prime minister, and their people basically, and their entire administration group basically. So they say that basically we know basically each and everything basically, that who can basically can able to create the project. So then basically the one person basically told that basically if they know up to that level, then basically who are they? That also basically person basically one of the person basically asked the question. That also basically was the interesting question basically. Who are those group basically sitting in the government in administration department, who says that this company basically can able to fulfill this army requirement, this education requirement basically can be fulfilled from this server company, this particular requirement which was given by the businessman basically, that the businessman requirement can be fulfilled from this particular server company basically. So they basically do the judgment, and they basically say that this server company basically can do. So according to that basically they maps the projects, they maps the project, or basically somebody else maps the project, but mostly basically government only have the authority to map the administration project basically. Few people say that government are also there basically, but few administration departments are there basically. So one person basically asked that is this basically IITs and IIM group basically? Then they told that mostly they might not be, because here basically still now basically the software company basically don't know that the project basically this all project are going to be come into the market. Still now basically the software company owner also basically don't know that this all software companies are going to exit software creation basically is going to come into the market. But the government has given few little bit hint that basically projects are going to become, that hint up to that level hint basically the government has given, the government administration department basically. Government administration department basically. So like this basically the governments basically comes in the picture. Like this basically the governments comes into the picture. Like this Indian army, businessman, education department person basically. They say that basically we have given the requirement basically of the project to the compact company, Dell company server basically. This all group basically we have given the requirement. Like this basically there are many groups basically. There are medical industry basically, people basically set of doctors basically who says that we want to create this all blood cells basically. You can create. Then basically they told that yeah basically we can create, but for that basically we need to create the cities basically. Then only then basically the software company told that yeah basically we can create, because nowadays we basically are into this also basically. We are basically into this also. So there basically industry group basically comes in the picture. They basically say that basically we have the materials for this particular land. We have the softwares basically created for construction materials, cement basically. Sometime basically some software company says that we from this software basically we create the cement. From this software basically we create the cements basically. So you can just imagine that's basically process basically. That's a lengthy process basically. It's not so easy. But to tell basically it's very easy. But to do basically lots of time basically takes. So like this basically things are also there. So this all basically connects to what? Next generation is going to happen, next generation is not supposed to happen. And that connects to the attraction area. So this is also basically one of the part of attraction, and next generation is supposed to happen and next generation is not supposed to happen. The groups basically who takes the decisions. In next part basically we are going to discuss little bit about this attraction in next generation is which generation is supposed to happen, which generation not supposed to happen.